This is my craft room. This used to be my bedroom. It's the smallest room in the house. After it was my bedroom, it was the playroom, and then a storage room, and then the cat's litter box room, and then a storage room again. In 2017, we had the bathroom remodeled. So my mom and I decided that we were going to clean up half of the space to give the contractors a place to work. We basically cleaned it from the edge of the desk towards the door. In 2020, I got tired of doing all of my crafts on the couch or having to get the card table out to use my sewing machine. So I thought, well, the desk is free, it's just a little dusty in here, and there is space. Mind you, none of this was here. There was an old futon frame under the window. There was a green Rubbermaid tote against the wall over there, which is now down there. I don't know how well you can see that. And so I moved my sewing machine up here, and I basically worked on this desk for I'm not sure how long, until I finally decided to clean out the rest of the room and bought the table, this set of drawers here, this set of drawers here. The bookcase I originally had bought to put in my bedroom because I wanted to rearrange my room, and there's already one in there, but I have a lot of books on the floor, so I wanted a second bookcase. Obviously that didn't happen. It came in here because I needed more storage space. And it was good for a while. The configuration has not changed. I've just gotten more stuff. And that's my main issue. There is a lot of stuff around the ironing board and behind it. There's all the stuff here. Right here is a small tote that I don't even know what's in it. My mom's old sewing box. And then I just keep piling stuff. Not to mention there's all this stuff on the floor. Everything that's piled on top of these two sets of drawers, as well as everything piled on top of the bins in the back. Not to mention everything in this corner over here between the bins in the corner here and the bins in the corner here. And I'm tired. I have no access to my closet, which is right there. I want to be able to use the closet space, but the only way I can do that is if I clear out everything in the corner here. And the only way I can figure out if stuff will even fit in there. And I also want to put the large white drawers in there potentially if they'll fit, because of how deep they are. I tend to lose things in there, and I don't really use the stuff that's in there that often. So I definitely want to figure out the organizing storage situation. I want to make more room because I have very little room between the table and the drawers. So being in my chair, it can be very awkward. And because there's stuff on the floor, it gets awkward to move from the table to the desk. It's a whole thing. I've been using this room as my craft room for a little over 5 years now. And stuff accumulates. I've gotten so much stuff over the years. I have 3 totes in the basement. One is another Rubbermaid, green Rubbermaid, that has more fabric in it. And then the other 2 are just yarn. And there's just stuff in the totes over here, and potentially some of them can go into the basement. If I think I'm not going to touch it as much, I can definitely see me putting them in the basement. But it's just, there's stuff in here that I just never got rid of, like the little tote here. I know there's a copy paper box in that corner that I don't know what's in there, as well as the lid to another copy paper box with just some random stuff, and then also stuff that I want but don't know where to put. The bookcase, the first 3 shelves have dolls on it. The third shelf also has books on it, mostly books that I want to use for bookbinding and junk journals and stuff like that. And then the fourth and the fifth shelf have random stuff, a couple of sewing books, a lot of my Monster High stuff is there. It's a mess. There's also 5 unopened Monster High dolls on the floor and stuff on top of the bookcase. And the shelves right there have just some dolls on it and some other things I threw up in there because where else was I going to put it? The corner of the desk, I don't even think you can see that. I've lost about a third of the desk to just stuff. This thing is good. I like it. But there's just stuff starts accumulating because I don't know what to do with it. But the only way for me to be able to do any of the things I want to do, I have to make a floor plan. And I have to measure everything. So let's go to montage mode. Okay, I have all of my measurements, and there's a lot of math going on because there was certain sections that I was having trouble measuring. Also, ignore all this. I made a smaller, quick diagram of the shape of the room, only to want it bigger, and I messed it up. It was supposed to be, this is the long wall, doorway, side of closet, short wall. Instead, I did it the other way because I did it so quickly. But that is all figured out now. Getting the measurement for the long wall here took 4 measurements to figure out. And I was rounding down because the measuring tape, where'd I put it? The measuring tape says it's 2 and 9 32nd inches wide. For those who have never used a measuring tape before, it will tell you how wide the casing is, so that if you are measuring something corner to corner and you're hitting a corner or a wall or whatever, you're doing like an inside measurement of something, you now know how wide the measuring tape is, so you can account that into your measurements. So say something is this wide, and I can only pull it out to the point where I can see the 8 on the measuring tape. I would then add 2 inches and 9 32nd to my measurement to make it 10 32nd long. 10 and 9 32nd, which 9 32nd is ever so slightly bigger than, hold on. Is ever so slightly bigger than an 1/8. No, sorry. 9 32nd is ever so slightly bigger than 1/4. So I was basically these, oh, you see all these lines? This line is 4 inches, and you have this little line next to it. That's 1/32, then 1/16, 3/32, 1/8, 5/32, 2/16, 7/32, and then this is a 1/4 inch right here. Obviously this is the 1/2 inch, 3/4, and then a full inch. Anyway, my measurements are rounded down, or in the case of some of the furniture, it's either rounded up or rounded down to make it easier for me. So I either round up or down accordingly to make it an even number of inches, 1/4, 1/2, or 3/4, because I'm not messing with 8ths, 16ths, and 32nds. So my numbers might be slightly off. All of that to say that I have all of my measurements because I'm going to make a floor plan. And one of my parents taught me how to do this. And basically what you do is you take grid paper and you equate 1 square to be 1 inch, 2 inches, 5 inches, depending on how small or big your space is. These are kind of big squares. I have other grid paper that are slightly smaller squares, but they're got the holes in it for being in a binder. And I didn't feel like dealing with that. I'm going to go 1 square 1 inch because I kind of want it to be bigger. I actually still have the floor plan that I made for my bedroom, and it ended up being 4 sheets of paper taped together. So I am fully prepared to have 4 sheets of paper taped together to be my floor plan for this room, even though it is much narrower at 1 square 1 inch, which I think is what I did on that one as well. It's going to be pretty big, but it'll make it easier for me. So I am going to start counting squares and taping paper together. Okay, I have all of my pieces cut out. I called the white drawers shelves for some reason. And what I want to do to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see what I'm doing, I'm going to color them all in. And yesterday I was like, let me just check to see if my markers are any good. They weren't, so I went to Staples and I went a little overboard. I bought 3 packs because I knew there was a lot of furniture pieces, and for some reason my brain went, an 8 or 10 pack is not going to be enough. I need more. Kind of have some duplicates. I think the yellows are all the same. These 2 greens might be the same, but it's my money. I don't care that much. You can even see, if you're wondering what all that was me testing my old ones to see if they worked, and they don't. So I'm gonna quickly color them in. More montage. Woo. Okay, so here is the room. I have it oriented the way that I am facing. So I am facing this back wall. The door is to my left. The window is to my right. Let me make those marks a little bit bolder. So these marks are the window and window frame, the closet door and frame, and then the door to the room. All right, so the window and the frame, the closet door and its frame, and then the door to the room and its frame, and then this is the wingspan, I guess. So how far out the door comes, and then that full space. Obviously, I wouldn't be putting anything in that corner because that's where the door is. So let's set up the room how it is currently. Tub is in the corner. Here, here. Right, so floral tub with leaving tub on top. And desk. Fabric tub is under the desk. It's fully under, but I'll leave it peeking out. And desk, table. Desk is almost touching. Skinny drawers are almost touching green tub, or I should white drawers almost touching green tub. Skinny drawers is touching. Mixed tub is on top of green tub. The bookcase is about here-ish. And I know this ironing board is right up against, at a slight angle, right up against the closet door. This is over some, like that. Of course, everything is curled because it got wet with the marker. It's something that that I'm not worrying about right now is anything that's on the walls, for the exception of 1, 2, 3 things, 4 things. Everything is on command hooks. The black and white shelf is on nails. The 2 embroidery pieces that you sometimes see in the background, which is on the wall right over there, they're both on nails. And then there's a large picture frame that is on a nail. And my chair would be about here. I didn't even bother to measure that. I probably should have. I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to measure my chair real quick. All right, the chair. That's about how much room I have. Like I was saying in the beginning of the video, I kind of want to put the white drawers in the closet. I cut that out because I thought I wasn't going to need it. Let me just... That can kind of give me an idea how much space I have. I left enough paper here to kind of see. So the ironing board doesn't need to stay there. So if there's any kind of space that I can find where it's folded up, where it can be upright, that will work. Even if it's like between 2 things or whatever. Ironing board does not have to stay upright. The white drawers, I want to fit into the closet. It might be a tight squeeze like this. So if not like that, so I can open the door. That's not how you open that door. Open the door and access the shelves, the drawers. There's also a top shelf in the closet that I can put stuff on top of. The bins, certain ones can definitely go in the basement. The green bin, tub, whatever, Right now is just random stuff. It was the tub that was in here when I first started using it as my craft room, and it has a random assortment of stuff in there. I know there is a shirt in there from Goodwill. I know there are floral stuff in there. I know there's a lot of fabric in there. If you remember, I found my pirate coat pattern in there. It kind of became the put everything I know I want to keep while cleaning up this room, put it into that bin. So I will eventually need to go through this one entirely. I meant to. Earlier this year, I had bought more bins. The bin the weaving is in and the fabric. So the fabric bin has always been my fabric bin that is just under the table here. Oops. Just under the table here. The bins that is mixed stuff that is on top of the green one, and then the florals, which is under my weaving, those are new bins, as well as two more that are in the basement. Like I was saying earlier, I had two bins of just yarn in the basement. They are the same size as this one. This one's a little bit smaller, and I had intended to clean this bin as well, and I never got to it because it was just so daunting. All that to say, this one can go in the basement if it has to. There is room. The mixed bin, I do access it sometimes. There are fabrics in there that I know I want to use for some upcoming projects. There is some yarn in there from a crochet whip that I will eventually take apart and do something else with. There's a whole bag of scrap fabric that I cleaned out of the bin under my table because the fabric bin was getting really bad, and I would finish a project and shove the leftover fabrics under there. So this one can stay upstairs. My weaving bin I do access a lot. I just did a weaving project. I already have two more in mind, so this can also stay upstairs, and they can easily sit one on top of the other. The florals bin, I don't go to florals as often, so that one can also go in the basement. And like I said, my fabric bin, which actually does not have, it has its lid. Doesn't have its lid on it. It is a constantly open bin because it's under the table, so it's kind of protected, and I do go in there a lot more, so that will also stay upstairs. That could potentially be in a pile with the other two. We'll see. The skinny drawers, I don't remember what my original idea for these were, but they quickly became my drawers for all of the fabric fat quarter bundles went. Let me show you real quick. So these are the skinny drawers that I'm talking about. Let me back up some more. Oh, my tripod. So it's 5 bins, and you can see they're on these tracks, and I can fully remove the drawers. Especially these two, they're packed. Actually, the first 4 are so fully packed with stuff. This one has all of my ribbons and trims and laces and stuff like that. This one has just some excess stuff from when I was doing doll clothes in here back in 2020. So it's fat quarters. I think they're 15-inch square bundles, and just a bunch of scrap. You can literally see there's a bunch of different scraps in here, as well as all of the bias tape that I grabbed at Joann's closing sale. This one and this one, like I said, are just bundles. These where they're themed fat quarter bundles. There's a lot of them. There's at least I think it's 8 or 10 for each stack. Let me put this back before I forget. That's also some more trims and stuff. This is more stuff, and it's just really full. So I would really like to do a different organization with it, because if I'm not careful, they'll actually fall off their tracks as I'm putting them back. They also scrape and will shave off bits of plastic, scrape against the metal tracks and shave off bits of plastic. And at the very bottom here, I have my pastels, my watercolor pencils, my acrylic paints, and other stuff for when I was doing, when I was customizing Monster High dolls, like doing faces, which I'm not very good at. I didn't do it for very long. So like that's where all that stuff is, in that bottom drawer. So that drawer, the skinny drawers, I can definitely see myself either finding a different storage system for them, for the fabrics in there, and then using those drawers for like tools that I reach for more often. I have 2 different hot glue guns, one of which requires thicker hot glue sticks, and I need to buy those still. I have a rotary cutter. I have my grommet setter and all my grommets, and just like some tools like that that I am more likely to reach for because they're types of projects that I will do more often. So I definitely want to keep this somewhere in the craft room. And then the bookcase, I would really like to have a second bookcase so I can better display all of my dolls. So right now, let me show you. So I don't think I've ever actually shown this bookcase on the channel. So ignore those legs up there. That was a customize that I gave up on. But this top shelf has these 3 Monster High dolls, are all customs that I have done. These 2 do not have faces, hence why her hair is still like that. I never finished styling it. This little brown cat guy I made, he's a little fabric doll. This one here, this one here, and this one here with the like floppy ears, they are all by Floppy Cat Creations. I have a sticker on my sewing machine from them, Floppy Cat Creations. And then everything else that you see, we've got 2 Tokidoki Unicornos. I've got a bunch of blind box BJDs, including this one. These are my favorites. I have a lot more, but I put them away in a box because the shelf was getting too full and I just wasn't enjoying seeing all of them. And then behind the Cat TV one is this mushroom cookie jar that a friend thrifted for me. And there's nothing in it. So like I need to move it because it doesn't really belong up here. I need to either put something in it or put it somewhere else in the house. And then those 2 are little like book boxes from Michael's from 2 different years of Halloween. This next shelf is all of my ball jointed dolls. Well, not all of them. There is one that you probably have seen in the background of a lot of my videos. She's over here because she's my very first one. She's not a very good one, so she doesn't stand up. She doesn't really do anything. She's very loose. And I had planned on doing something to help with her arms, like no matter how tight the elastic is, there's nothing to make it stay. So she ended up there because I was going to customize her like 2 years ago, and then she just never moved. So technically I have 7 ball jointed dolls. There's also some Monster High back here that I also had planned on customizing like even before her, and really they should just go into my tub of like eBay purchased, and even some of the ones that are like newer Monster High. But anyway, back to my ball jointed dolls. So these are my ball jointed dolls, and this guy here with the black bun, I don't know how you can see, he does have a black bun. He basically launched my TikTok channel with me doing customization for him, and by customizing I mean I make wigs and clothes for ball jointed dolls. I buy them with their faces already painted because I'm not confident, especially with something so expensive. So he was my first. White haired was my second in the recent years. Yellow hair was my third. And then I took a little bit of a break. I then bought the bigger 1/3. They are all a 1/4 scale. She is a 1/3 scale. And then the 2 little ones are a 1/6 scale. The 4 of them are from what's the company I bought them from? I don't remember the name, but I'll put it up on the screen. I'm completely blanking on the company that I bought the 4 of them from, but the 2 little ones I remember are from Mask Cat dolls. And then the shelf below, oh, also that's more blind box stuff. The shelf below, let's get this little mushroom ornament out of the way. Shelf below are my BTS dolls. I love BTS, and when I heard that they had dolls, I'm like, I needed all of them. So I bought all 7. But what you can see behind them are the books that I were mentioning. So it's like old books that we were never going to read. There's a thesaurus in there, an old dictionary in there somewhere, old Harry Potter books that I don't care about anymore, and I'd rather destroy them than do anything else with them. And there's even one back there that was a junk journal that I was making, and I never actually sewed the pages in. And then there's also a couple other books in there that are just really nice, and I don't want to destroy, but they're just up here. So I have a lot of room to display all of my dolls, but then here's the problem. Down here, there's that bag in the middle is all of the BJD clothes that I've made. The plastic bag has fabric in it that I should do something with. We've got some empty journals, my tie-dye kit. Like I said, there's some sewing books and also a couple of BTS-specific magazines that people have bought for me. And then on the bottom shelf, which you can't even see all of because I have unopened Generation 3 Monster High in front of it, are my bins of Monster High. So I have all of their clothes in that one. There's dolls in that one. There's and that the one with the dolls, it spans the full width of the bottom shelf. And then that little box with the green handle has accessories, but then there's also those are patterns in there. Empty pill bottles they used to have bobbins of thread. Then there's tools and sandpaper, and then I have faux leather for making doll shoes, which I never did. Then now that my phone's in my hand, I can show you the absolute mess that is behind and in front of the ironing board. That box has a blending board for wool fiber roving, and I never did anything with that. And then all of my Legos that I put together recently that I don't know what to do with because I have nowhere to put them. So you can kind of see what I'm doing, what I'm saying. All of this stuff back here, I want in the closet. Some of it, the ramen bag, has yarn that I want to use for my next roll for yarn. The mushroom bag has some other yarn that I want to make something with, but it's very small amounts. So I don't know what to make with. There's a bag back there with some fabrics that I need to do something with, put it somewhere. And then another reusable bag that has all of the stuff on my Etsy, as well as a half-finished crochet project. My yarn winder is right there. My Swift is behind the ironing board. That's what that brown thing is. That's my yarn Swift. That black line, that's a bag. It's a bag from my new tripod. I don't know where to put that. And then there's literally old projects. There's the freeform crochet, the pumpkin mask I made, the metal trays that I use for the dyeing of the yarn, and then foam that I want to use for other just so much stuff back here, and I want more space, not to mention all of this. So another box of Legos that I haven't made yet. This is my mom's sewing box, and then underneath is the bin I was talking about. I don't even know what's in there. That was supposed to be a project that I never did. That's half. I had got 2 mics when I bought my lav mic. This has some jewelry making stuff in it. This bin has my chainmail stuff in it. Beads are in that one. Empty mesh bags are in that one. 1.5 bags of polyfill, and then just random baskets full of stuff. The green one has strip fabric that is like a jelly roll for quilting that I intended on making something with and I never did. And while we're airing out all my stuff, There's also this section, which is between the weaving and floral bins and the mixed and green bins. Wrapping paper for pattern making, zip ties for boning, more Lego, my junk journal stuff. Those are junk journals I don't want and need to get rid of, but I can't sell them on Etsy because they all use printed pages from other creators on Etsy. So like, I don't know how to list those without seeming like I claimed it as my own. That stuff for my junk journal, that stuff from my junk journal is in this bin. That stuff for junk journal, that stuff for junk journal. So like, whenever you see me do the junk journal spreads where it's like pictures I printed out and I'm gluing them into a bound journal that I purchased, that's what all of that stuff is for. And then like this green shopping bag has other brown paper bags and shopping bags because I wanted to make a journal out of just that. That's most of the pirate coat pattern, a fan that is broken. I don't know why it's in here. This is wall paint, painted part of my wall in my bedroom, and there's samples in there and a little tray and brushes and a bunch of random trims, and there's another bag in there. I don't know what that is. And then there's all the stuff on top of the bins here. That's a crochet project that I want to frog and do something else with. That's, there's stuff in the plastic cauldron. Why do I have that? Pens and buttons and another journal that I was doing, and then there's a bag of beads back there, and there's hats under the sweater, and there's just so much shit in this room. I went a little overboard there. I was basically talking about everything in this room that I don't really show you guys because it's on the floor basically, or you do see a little bit behind me when I'm on camera. But now that I've calm down, let's figure out the room setup. So I would like the stuff on the bottom shelves of the bookcase to potentially go in the closet. So that would free up space. I could even rearrange the shelves because they are removable except for the one that the BTS dolls are on. That one is a permanent fixture. I can rearrange them, make more room so I can display more dolls because I would love to have more dolls on display. And I can also have a shelf dedicated to my American Girls, which you can literally see Emily in the corner here because I don't know where else to put them. Both Felicity and Emily are up here, as well as their clothes because I haven't put that back in my closet. I need a wardrobe for that, but wardrobes for these dolls are expensive. So, God, probably like a year ago, I started thinking about wanting to rearrange the room, the craft room. And one of the things I wanted to know, hold on, I just remembered I wanted to mark out where the outlets are so I can remember. I know there is an outlet roughly here. Right now I have a power strip connected to it so that my sewing machine, the light for my camera mount, and then the string lights in here are all plugged into it. I feel like there's another outlet in here. There can't be just one. Because like I said, this used to be my bedroom. My bed used to be in this corner. So there had to have been an outlet around here, or even on this wall. From I think I had a nightstand with like a alarm clock or a lamp or something. I vaguely remember there being something under the window. And it has to be around here. I haven't been able to find it. I know there's a vent in this corner. There's also a vent over here. This one is actually connected to the air ducts. So if the heat or air is on, it comes out of there. This one is more of an out vent. But I swear there's another outlet in here. And there's the stuff in the corner is so hard to move that I won't find out until I start moving stuff around. Maybe when I get into the closet and I can move the white drawers in there, I can put it over there. But I had some thoughts about how I wanted to mix it up. Maybe the desk here, and I kind of want almost like an L shape, but because the room is so narrow, it leaves awkward space there or there. If I go like that, there's more awkward space. And it's hard enough getting into the bins that are here as it is, with it being more space in front of it. I mean, with all the junk there, it's not more space, but just to kind of have a corner that I can, move. I can be like, oh, here, and then back and forth. That would be really nice. The shelves are in the closet, either like this or like this, ideally like this, but I don't know how thick the walls are. I could always keep this pile. Now, if I do 3 bins, right now, the floral and then the weaving bin is just like the table thickness lower than the table. I think the table's maybe like 1.5 inches, an inch and a half. So these two on top of each other sit 1.5 inches lower than the level of the table. So if I florals, a mixed tub, weaving, and then fabric will make it too tall. But if this table stays where it is, I can just keep my fabric under the table like I have it right now. So that still allows the swivel back and forth in this corner, and it frees it up. It also frees up half of the room because the desk is now over here. That is conditional to if the outlet is over there. If there's another outlet, I can do that. I would have really liked the top-down mount to actually be at the back of the table. I tried, but because of the tightening mechanism and just the width of the mount itself, it had the table too far away from the wall. So that isn't possible. Besides, if I moved it back there, I wouldn't be able to get all my cool close-ups when I'm doing my weaving. But I could always put drawers over here, which would give me good access to like my tools and stuff like that. And I can clean up the drawers in the desk because they're also a mess, and put stuff in the skinny drawers. That could actually work because there's a lot of sewing stuff crammed into the middle drawer of my desk, and the top drawer of the desk really has stuff in it I don't touch that I could move into the skinny drawers as well. Again, conditional if I can find an outlet over here and still have my outlet over here. The bookcase could stay where it is. Where was it? This. Yeah, about there. Could stay where it is. And I need to mark out. This is how long is the door to be? 24 inches. So I can access the closet and not have to worry about stuff getting in the way. Roughly, that's how big the door is. So I can't put anything closer, but it does mean I can prop up the ironing board behind it. It'll be out of the way, and yeah, that works. So ironing board behind the door. I think the bookcase can stay where it is because I don't want to move it. I'm scared to move it. Another bookcase would be nice. I can also move the shelves on the wall if I'm able to have more display space. I can do that. A second bookcase here, because it doesn't protrude from the wall as much as the white shelves do. A second bookcase here for displays. So I can move my 18-inch or 17-inch Monster High from the white shelf, and then they get some cover so they're not covered in dust anymore since they're out in the open. It can even be a shorter shelf. That could work. So I can also put stuff on top. Even if I'm not able to move the desk, I can move it over some, at least. And that still gives me all of this space do stuff with if there is no outlet over here. So really it all comes down to getting into the closet. So tomorrow I think I will start clearing out everything over there and get into the closet so I can start cleaning it out. Day 2. I have you up in the other corner so you can actually see. The goal is to get everything out from around and behind the ironing board and get into the closet. Today I am getting into the closet and I'm going to start emptying it out and cleaning it up. This closet hadn't been opened for probably 15 years, and I knew that there was going to be a lot of dust inside. There was dust just from the passage of time, dust from when the cat's litter box was in here, and dust from when the contractors were working on the bathroom. So I knew wearing a mask while cleaning it out was important for my health. I found so much stuff in here from when I was little, but I knew that in order to minimize the amount of stuff that I already have, I really couldn't keep any of it. Alright, so the closet is done. It was about 4 bags worth of stuff, plus a box that was already full of something, and the 2 items, the stilts and the skateboard, both of which I bought in my early 20s. What was I thinking? I was in my early 20s. There was no way I was going to be able to do either of those. Like I showed you, I found Felicity's box, and I'm so surprised by the fact that it's white. I was so sure it would look like what they look like now. There's only 1 marking on it, whatever that means. I was so surprised by that. But yeah, it's just the packaging. I'm surprised we saved it. Yeah, it's crazy that I actually have all of this stuff. I was good, and I didn't keep too many things. Just these 2 toys here, 2 small photo albums, third photo album with only a couple of photos in it. And then I was surprised to find this. I showed you. I don't even remember having these. I must have read them. But I know I have some of Felicity's books. They're probably in my closet with her accessories. But yeah, the closet is too shallow. It's not wide enough for the white drawers to go in here the way I wanted. So they're not going to be able to sit this way and be able to pull out this way. They'll have to sit this way and pull out this way. But that's fine. I had a feeling that might happen. I don't think they're too long. Like they'll fit in the closet this way. I just hope they'll actually not be too wide for the door so that I can actually open the drawers in here. Because if it's still too big then I don't know what I'm going to do. But yeah, that's it for today. Yes, I'm wearing the same shirt as yesterday. I knew it was going to get extremely dusty, so I wear this shirt the entire week. Day 3, I focused on this back corner. Now with the closet empty, I really wanted to get the white drawers in there, which means cleaning up everything on top of it and emptying the whole thing out. Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Guess what I found? The grommets that I lost. They were under the skinny shelves. On day 4, I really didn't get that far with putting things away in these drawers. The small white plastic drawers that I used to store all of my patterns in was so old that it actually started to fall apart as I tried to pick it up. I was going to put more tools into it, but with it broken, I had to run to the store and get something else. I ended up not getting anything for it since I remembered I had some old Tupperware containers, but I did end up buying a second bookcase. Day 5, I really didn't get much done. It was the end of the week and my energy was starting to wane. So all I really did was finish working on the small drawers and then a little bit more work on my desk. Day 6 was the start of a new week, and I dived right into working on the 2 bins that were in the corner. I really wanted to get the green bin in the basement, so I knew I had to go through it and figure out what was in there, what I wanted to keep, what I wanted to move, and so on. Day 7 was the big day to move my desk. I did find an outlet behind the bins in the corner, which means I could in fact put my desk in that spot. I did realize after the fact that I could have painted the walls while this section of the room was empty, but I didn't think about it and I didn't have the paint anyway. The bin of florals was something else that I wanted to get into the basement, and in its place I put the bin of mixed stuff as well as my weaving bin. I had really wanted to put an old corkboard in the place of the shelves, but after much measuring, I realized that I couldn't put the new bookcase next to the old one. The only space available for it was where these shelves were. If I had put it next to the old bookcase, my chair would bang into it when I moved around. I only got half of the bookcase built on day 8. The rest of it was built on day 9, but since it was already pretty difficult, I didn't film anything that day. Day 10, the final day, and the day I was most looking forward to. it's finally done. It took 2 weeks for me to do all of this, and there's just so much more room now. Moving the white drawers into the closet was probably the best thing that I've ever done. Utilizing the closet at all, really, is the best thing that I've done because it frees up so much space, not only by the closet, but also around here where my desk is now. I really like having the desk in the corner like this. It makes the workspace feel like it's here in the corner as opposed to along the wall. And now I don't have to drag my chair over and back to move between the desk and the table. There's still a few things I don't know what to do with. Little things, some, stuff that's on the table and the desk over here. Some of it's future projects, like the sweater here. Some of it is like the mushroom cookie jar that used to be on my shelf. It's on the floor right now. I don't really know what to do with that either, as well as a bag on over there in the corner next to the new bookcase. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I already know I'm going to have to make changes. I already have another American Girl doll coming in the mail, so I'll have to make space for her on that shelf. And I know I want to build some more Lego, since I have Lego sets. So I'm going to have to make room for that on that shelf as well. But that's just little things. The small stuff I can move around much easier, like my jars of trinkets and stuff like that. I can easily put it on a different shelf. I really like using the bottom half of both bookcase as storage. I already was doing it back when I first got this bookcase here. It used to have the boxes of all of my Monster High dolls and all of the accessories and stuff that came with them back when I thought I would be customizing a bunch of them. The Monster High are now in the closet on the top shelf. So I'm not saying I'm never going to customize them, but now they're in a place where they're less in the way, because when they were on the bottom shelf here, they took up an entire shelf. Using the small drawers here for the things that were basically having no home for a while. My sandpaper and rasp that I'd bought for dealing with boning and stuff like that, and just like all the different sewing tools that I have, all have a home now. The ribbons and all that kind of stuff are more spread out, so they're not all cramped into a single drawer. And all of the fabric that used to be in there is now, as you know, in the white drawers, which is much more space for all of it. And with Joanne's gone, I don't really plan on buying more of those little bundles, so it's not like I have to worry about running out of space again. All in all, I am super happy with how it turned out. I can't wait to get back to making things. I already have a plan for next video. And yes, it is doll related, but I promise I'm not going to just be a doll channel now. I will get back to sewing and crocheting and all that kind of stuff. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy crochet, sewing, or any other kinds of crafts, please consider a follow. I upload every Sunday, and I hope to see you there. Bye.